What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, and I'm black up in your face again with some more pro black commentary. So, I saw a quote by the Black Walrus himself, the pastor T.D. Jakes, Take Dollars Jakes, and he was basically saying that the community is doing bad because we have a lot of black women who are being raised to be more masculine, basically saying that you have a lot of black women out here who are more focused on careerism and making money and doing all this stuff, but they don't have nor can they get a man to be with, so they almost want to be the man in the relationship. And I saw this quote and I watched the actual video, and then I went and looked up, a couple of commentaries about it. And the thing I have to say about TD Jakes and his little quote there is I call bullshit. All right. And the reason I say that is because if there is this mentality amongst black women where they are more focused on careerism or being themselves, being just with themselves and all this other stuff, TD Jakes was one of the main Negroes who pushed that bullshit. He's one of the main ones who pushed that nonsense way back in the 90s. So he's partially guilty for it. And in his own church and the example that he sets, he puts that nonsense out there in his books and his so-called sermons and whatnot, and making it seem as if, you know, he caters a lot to black women because basically he just wants their money. So he's pumped their heads up with a lot of this useless careerism and you don't need no man and woman thou art loosed and all this other bullshit, because if he keeps them making money and he keeps them single, basically the only man that they'll listen to and respond to is him. And I mean, this is not something that TD Jakes created. I mean, this is the typical black preacher hustle, where basically they become the man in the black community. Okay. I mean, pimps do the same thing. That's why people make a lot of comparisons between pimps and preachers, is they become the man to these women. And these women listen to them. These women give these guys money, all their money when the guys ask for it. And whatever bullshit advice these guys give, these women will take it as gospel. Okay? The only difference between the pimp and these pastors is the pastor is using the illusion of the word of God. And in that, in my opinion, by them doing that, that makes them worse than an actual pimp. Because at least the pimp is just using himself. And if you fall for the idea that this pimp is perfect with his purple shoes and mink coats and all this other bullshit he's wearing, that's kind of on you. That's kind of on your weak mind and your weak self-esteem. But for someone who is out there posing as the messenger of God and that you're giving the word of God, that's blasphemous for you to do that. And it is extremely hypocritical to do that. And that's why, in my opinion, no matter what material wealth that these devils get, their karma is filthy and it's going to catch up with them eventually. It just caught up with one of these pastors in Brooklyn where his bitch ass got robbed in the pulpit. But somehow it's going to catch up with Jakes too. It caught up with TD Jakes' buddy, Eddie Long, real good. Yeah, I said that. Okay? We all know what happened to Eddie Long. We all know what he was accused of. And karma caught up with his ass quick, fast, and in a hurry. And TD Jakes was one of the Negroes out there trying to forgive that devil. All right? So that makes him a devil too. Obviously, you can hear that I don't support nor do I like TD Jakes. In my opinion, he's the same as a lot of these other hustler preachers out there like Creflo Dollar, like Joel Osteen, okay, like Joyce Myers. Basically, all these people do is use the word of God to browbeat black people, take their money, and enrich themselves. like the quote from the Bible, they're all about enriching and serving their own belly. They're not trying to actually serve and help the people. So now you see TD Jakes trying to spout some nonsense that sounds like it came from a Kevin Samuels program. And basically, what he's trying to do is, since Kevin Samuels is dead and there's no older black father figure within the manosphere anymore, this walrus looking sea mammal Negro is basically trying to take that slot. He's trying to get in there and incorporate some of that nonsense that you find on social media. He's been doing his research, seeing this whole gender war bullshit that he's helped to foment. And now he's figuring, well, I already got black women in here giving me all their money. Let me get out here and try to get some of that manosphere money. Let me get some of that manosphere dough and get some of these older black men in here or younger black men who listen to Kevin Samuels. Maybe if I say some of the same bullshit, they'll come in here and give me their money too. That's basically all it is. So I don't take anything into consideration about what TD Jakes said, okay? Because he's a hypocrite, a fraud, a liar, and is just a scam artist. So there's no point in me listening to any nonsense that he has to say. And, the message is nonsense to begin with. Like I said, he flip-flops. He was preaching a whole different sermon 10 years ago, but now all of a sudden he sees that some of the stuff he's been saying has been detrimental to black relationships. Negro, you caused these problems. You caused a lot of women to be that way. That's the majority of the audience you have in your church. Is black women who you fed their ego with bullshit. So if it's a problem now, it's you created the problem, you deal with it. I guess these women are not giving him enough money these days. I guess they're not breaking him off enough bread in the ties in the building fund. So or buying his bullshit books and movies. So I guess he has to come up with some other way to supplement his income, so he can still fly his private jets and rock jewelry and whatnot, and try to fit a gold chain around his little fat, no neck having ass. You folks let me know how you feel about it in the comments section. This is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on these devils' back.